Hi, this is Alicia, the project manager with One Call Connect, and a very warm welcome to everyone on this webinar today. I will be discussing our history and technology partnership with Sippy Software and also our Stir Shaken product. So, as many of you already know, Sippy Software has been providing robust and user-friendly products since the early 2000s, and One Call Connect was one of the early adopters for the Sippy Software products, which also enabled us to become one of the largest providers of mobile traffic in the Caribbean market. And in doing so, we terminated millions of minutes daily without incidents, simply and primarily because of the reliable and robust Sippy software platform. Moving forwards, we've been involved with Sippy Software in beta testing various products, one of which is being officially released today, Sippy 2021, which now includes the ability to insert a Stir Shaken token within the outbound call path to your USA vendor for termination. Now, One Call Connect is very happy to announce that our Stir Shaken product has been fully tested by Sippy Software and can be easily provisioned on your Sippy soft switch for all your Stir Shaken requirements. So, I'm sure some of you are asking, why is Stir Shaken necessary? Well, the purpose behind Stir Shaken is to reduce or eliminate unwanted robocalls in the United States, Canada, and also soon to be the United Kingdom, along with other countries already in the pipeline to enable this technology. As you can see, there are over 4 to 5 billion robocalls per month, with over 40% of which are fraudulent. And this number is increasing year after year. So something had to be done to either eliminate or somehow reduce this fraudulent traffic, which we now know as the technology called Stir Shaken. According to telecommunication stats, the average American receives about 5 fraudulent calls per month, which has become the #1 consumer complaint in the USA. So you can see it's necessary to either eliminate or somehow reduce this fraudulent traffic, which has become the main priority in telecommunications, which is now also gaining traction worldwide. What is Stir Shaken? STIR is an acronym that stands for Secure Telephony Identity Revisited, which was developed back in February of 2018 by the Internet Engineering Task Force, or IETF for short. This group was responsible for outlining the technical protocols required to create a digital signature for VoIP phone calls, which basically is a way to help verify and authenticate the calling party's identification. What is Shaken? Shaken is an acronym that stands for Secure Handling of Asserted Information Using Tokens, which is a framework that outlines and defines the methods in which service providers actually implement the STIR technology to authenticate calls made and received over IP networks. So the big question here today is, do I need Stir Shaken? Well, the short answer is yes and yes. Now, if any of your answers to 1 and 2 are yes, then yes, you will need Stir Shaken. Number 1, does your traffic originate from any international country and terminate into the United States? If it does, then the answer is yes, you need Stir Shaken. Number 2, does your traffic originate from the United States and terminate into the United States? If it does, again, the answer is yes. And yes, you need Stir Shaken. Now, you may ask what happens if you don't use Stir Shaken. Well, if you do not have the Stir Shaken token inserted into the SIP headers to your vendors, then by US FCC law, your vendors will have the option to either reject the call, send the call to voicemail, or add a spam likely message or similar message on the caller ID, which, as you all know, will result in much lower ASRs, reduced daily minutes, and ultimately, lost revenues. The reason for this is that when the end user sees a spam-likely message or similar messages on their phone, they are highly unlikely to answer that call. Why? Because this will typically be a robocall. Now, the good news is that One Call Connect can make you compliant with the FCC by providing the STIR/SHAKEN token and also by assisting with FCC compliancy documentation. One Call Connect simply inserts a STIR/SHAKEN token into each call. The call is then sent outbound as usual to your USA vendors for termination, and in doing so, provides full attestation and FCC compliance on each call that is being sent to your vendors for termination. By the way, all of this is being done in milliseconds, so it will not have a significant impact on your PDD. This is a quick demonstration of how STIR/SHAKEN will affect an inbound call to an end user. Now, on the left-hand side, you can see that the caller has been verified, as indicated by the green arrow. And on the phone itself, you can see Caller Verified. Now, typically that end user will answer that call, as it's a verified non-spam call. On the right, you can see that the call has been presented as a potential spam call. So it's highly unlikely that the user will answer this call. And this is indicated by the red arrow, Caller Blocked. Now in this diagram, we are showing a simplified version of the STIR/SHAKEN process for the insertion of a STIR/SHAKEN token into the SIP call path. In this diagram, you can see that the SIPI soft switch, which is indicated in green, will request the STIR/SHAKEN token from One Call Connect, indicated in orange. One Call Connect then inserts a STIR/SHAKEN token into the call path via the identity header. And the call is then sent outbound as usual via your SIPI soft switch to your USA vendors for termination. And in doing so, provides full attestation and FCC compliancy on each call. The question is, so how do I interconnect to One Call Connect for STIR/SHAKEN service? Well, the good news is that SIPI 2021 has added a new user-friendly STIR/SHAKEN setup tool to interconnect with One Call Connect's STIR/SHAKEN server for delivery of your tokens via SIP 302 redirect. Or you can simply follow the STIR/SHAKEN setup procedures on the SIPI support website under Documentation and Solutions, which is under the Tutorial section for SIPI 2021. Also, if you are familiar with setting up LRN on SIPI, you will find that the setup for STIR/SHAKEN is very similar to the current LRN procedure. Our STIR/SHAKEN interconnection. This is an example of how the STIR/SHAKEN token will actually appear on your SIP logs with SIPI. In a quick note, this token is also known in the telecom industry as a certificate and can be called either or. Now you can see in the area highlighted in yellow where the token has actually been inserted into the header. This SIP identity header is then sent to your vendor as usual, who then decrypts that token and is verified against the certificate repositories for authentication. Once the token has been authenticated, the vendor sends the call to your intended recipient, displayed typically as a verified caller ID, or a spam call, potential spam, or other message, which will depend on if you have STIR/SHAKEN applied. What is attestation? Well, there are 3 levels of attestation that One Call Connect can provide on each call. Full attestation, A, is where the service provider knows the source and the calling number. Partial attestation, B, is where the service provider knows the customer but not the source of the number. Gateway attestation, C, is where the service provider has originated the number but cannot authenticate the number. Can I check my attestation? Well, once again, the answer is yes. To check your attestation level, you can use this website to decode your tokens and check the attestation level granted to the caller ID, or CLI. Simply copy and paste your token into the left pane under the heading Encoded, and you will instantly see the decoded information on the right pane under the heading Decoded. Today, we are very happy to announce that with our technology partnership with Sippy Software, we are able to provide a promotional per-token discount code to coincide with the launch of Sippy 2021. This code is open to the first 100 customers who onboard by the end of November 2021. In addition, you will also receive a $10 credit for testing your Stir Shaken account. Simply enter Sippy 2021 on the link provided, or you can email the knock@onecallconnect.net and mention Sippy 2021. Again, I want to thank you for spending the time with One Call Connect, and at this time, I will hand you back over to Sippy Software. Thank you.